What's up guys, Ivan Carranza here, and today we're gonna take a look at Duff McKagan's playing on Sweet Child O' Mine. In over 15 years of playing, this is the first time I've actually sat down and learned the song, and there were a couple of things that I noticed that I think are pretty helpful for not only beginner players but also more intermediate or advanced players in terms of bassline creation, note placement, and how to spice up your bassline, because I think Duff playing here is really spot on and very tasteful. So we're gonna take a look at what he's doing. This is not like a finger one where to press kind of lesson, but I want to give you a general overview of what he's doing so that you can also integrate these concepts into your playing. So let's start, of course, with the intro, the famous line here. Right? Now, for all intents and purposes, this song, or pretty much the entire record of Guns N' Roses, is tuned down a half step. I'm in E standard tuning, so I'm going to be talking about the notes as if they were in the standard tuning. The original recording, the chords are D flat major, C flat major, which is a B actually, and then G flat major or F sharp, depending on how you look at it. But for this, we're looking at the notes as D, C major, and then G major. So 3 major chords for the majority of the song. Now, I've seen some people arguing in which key center and which tonality is the song. To me, it's more in G, because we would have D the 5th, C the 4th, and then G, the root note, the key center, the tonic. And then towards the end of the song, it moves to E minor, which is the relative minor of G. So I think it makes more sense to call it being in G major than being in D, which some people say it's modal because it changes, and in the C you have the 4th there, which is not in the key of G major, this F natural, it would be F sharp. So there's a bit of debate here. To me, it is in G major. Now, for the intro, we have very simple, like concept-wise, what he's doing, but very melodic. He's just playing root, D, the major 3rd here, and then moving diatonically towards the 6th. So root note, 3rd, 4th, 5th, landing on the B here, which is the 6th. And then coming back down. Then play an open D to go back down to C. So root, C, the 5th, G. And this movement happens quite a bit throughout the song. This 4th resolving down to a major 3rd. Kind of like gospel-y, but it's like creating tension and resolution. Now, I play that usually with my middle finger and doing a barré, and then an open A to get on the G. And here I'm sliding from C to D, and then playing the octave of G. You could also play like that, but in the recording there is a slide. Again, this 4th to major 3rd movement. And then goes into the first verse. So let me repeat that very slowly, the first part. that slide, I hear an open E string and then sliding from the 12th fret towards D. And then landing on D on the 5th fret of the A string. And the verse, this is where most of the changes happen, and I think this is probably the part that teaches you the most in the song, because there are a lot of different variations that Duff is playing in the verse, which I think are really, really cool. Now, the main concept of this is to play this rhythm pattern. So on the first downbeat, a D, and then on each snare hit, so on 2 and 4, he's using an open A string, and then on the 2 and, again a D, sometimes throughout the song he changes the open A to a muted ghost note, but it's always together with the snare drum, so you can guide yourself from that. Now, the chords are the same: D major, C major, G major, but like I mentioned, what he does, the little changes, the little chord connection that he does there, I think are really, really cool. So it sounds like this. So here he's walking to the C chord by playing A, B, and C. You could also play it on the E string. Like that. And then on C, he does the same rhythm, also using the A string as an open on 2 and 4. And what that shows us is that, for example, if we were to transpose, right, this to another key, I know these are 2 major chords, right? So on the first one, on D, A is the 5th, on C, A is the major 6th. So if I was to transpose this, for example, to E major, it shows me that I can use the major 6th on major chords and also the 5th below the root on major chords as well. So again, back to C. This is the first run that he does. He's going downwards also diatonically. So C, B, A, landing on G. And then again on G, he uses the same rhythmic pattern, using this time the open E string, which is again in this case the major 6th of G major, but an octave lower. And here he connects to the next chord, which is back to D, using an open A, which again is the 5th of the chord that you're playing next. So that's also a really good lesson, that you can use the 5th of the next chord to land back down on the next downbeat. So if I was moving to a different chord, let's say from G to B, for example, I could use the 5th below or the 5th above to target the next chord. Now we go back to D again. Here's another really cool fill. And again, we hear this 4th to major 3rd movement. Here we're playing root, octave, open A, so the 5th, back to the root, and then 4th, major 3rd. This This is also a really cool fill or embellishment, if you will, that you can adapt to your playing as well, because maybe this fourth clashes, let's say, with the melody of the singer or what another melodic instrument is doing. You can replace that for something else. Just using the triad. Or staying on one note. Something like that. You don't have to always use the fourth in that case, if you want to change it up a little bit, but you can vary it a little bit and play around with the pentatonic scale or the major scale, and also, of course, the triad. Now we go back down to the D again. In the second round, he does use that ghost note on the snare hits. Here he does chromatic movement to G. Using the E string, he plays E, F, F sharp, landing on G, which is the same as playing. We're chromatically targeting the next root note from 3 frets below. And that is a really, really good move to have in your toolkit, because you can use it for pretty much everything. To target root notes or connecting chords. Depends on genre, of course, but it's really good to know how you can do it. Now here again, let me repeat that. Landing on G. And here again, he does a chromatic movement, so he's playing the rhythm G and open E. Move chromatically from C to D, to the next root note, and here in this case he's using 2 tones, or 2 half step, to go to the next root. So that's also a great tool to have in your toolkit. Targeting notes 2 half steps below what you want to actually play. Now this fill, he does it every time going into the chorus and then going out of the chorus as well. I think Duff plays it in this position. I prefer to play it here on the 12th fret. Sounds a bit fuller, a bit punchier. And here it's a bit snappier, using the G string, of course. But to play it is like this. So you're using the advantage of having the open A string to go and jump here, and then again chromatically C, C sharp, D, and then open E, down from the 12th fret. And then we are on the chorus, and here he moves from A to C to D. And to go from A to C, you do a B as a passing note. So here we're changing from C to D, also using an open A string, which is again the 5th of the next chord. And here he plays diatonically, going from the 5th, 4th, 3rd, and then the root. back again to the same movement, A. Again, like I mentioned, going in and out of the chorus, you play that fill. Now we go back again to the same rhythm pattern of the verse. Now he does a couple of things here, and there's a lot of variations, like I mentioned. There's a lot of use of octaves, for example. This was really interesting when you are on the G. He does the same rhythmic pattern in the beginning. But then, so essentially doing the same movement, 3 half steps below the next root, but he's using always an open A in the middle. So go back to D, and then does the same, fourth to 3 major third fill that we looked at the beginning. Then he plays again pre. Again here, using a walk down. In this case, like I said, he's using an F natural instead of an F sharp. But doing, again here, he's targeting the G with the 5th. Again, octave movements. The same chromatic movement that we had in the beginning. And then there's a really cool fill here. So he's doing that chromatic targeting again. So he's using open E and then playing F, F sharp, G, which he could have done. Here on the higher notes, but he's using first the open E to give some time and also easier to jump. Again here A, and here this movement is really also pretty insightful because this is another really cool tool to have in your toolkit, because you can use this in a lot of genres that you have the 5th below the root and then walking chromatically or targeting chromatically the root note 2 half steps below. So again, that whole part. And then we go again into the chorus, and towards the end, then it changes keys. Like I mentioned, it goes to E minor, and for that it goes like this. So we stay on that D and play some 8th notes. And then use D sharp, which if you analyze it, it could be that it's a B chord. This is the 3rd of it, so it's a dominant B going to E. So here we have E, C, B, A, and then I walk back to from G, F sharp, E. And if you listen to the drums are making also an accent on that upper octave that we're playing. That repeats a couple of times until we stay on an A and play some eighth notes like we did before. We do that fill, which is pentatonic, and then go back to E minor. This is the final portion of the solo where it gets a lot more energy. And here we're playing E, going to G, using an F sharp as a passing note, then A, then C, D, G. And I like to do a little bend, which is something that guitar players tend to do when they play this kind of chord progression. But always we're using octaves, and then to switch chords, an open E string as well. And this repeats a couple of times, and then there's a breakdown, a real low part, but the chords stay the same. And then it goes back again with more energy, repeating the same rhythmic pattern. But like I said, and probably you heard and saw here, there's a lot of little things, little details that we can take from this song that I think benefit not only, like I mentioned, beginner players, but also more advanced players. Very cool concepts like the use of octaves. Also, walking down scale, chromatic targeting. Also, that fourth to third movement. Also, paying close attention to what the drummer is doing and mimicking that with the rhythm, for example, here. Or using the open A string. But also, I'm not looking only at scales like going upwards. And in this case, using the chromatic targeting only going upward, but also an octave below. You can do it from. So a lot of really cool nuances here that I think are really, really cool. I hope you guys found this helpful. Let me know what you think in the comments, and also don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date with the content that's coming to the channel. As always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.